There are 3 stages to bad film viewing. Stage 1, clicking on the movie after seeing something that interests you. Stage 2, watching the film and determining it's a pile of crap. And the final stage can be different depending on the type of bad film you're watching. Stage 3 is usually turn that movie off and stick on The Lost Boys, but there's a hidden alternative route to stage 3, and that is when a film is so bad it actually amuses you. Well, today that's what I'm talking about, that secret stage 3 part. So I thought we would go for one of the more notorious / good films first, that being a literal tornado of sharks. So Sharknado is a film made in 2013 and directed by Anthony C. Ferrante. The main summary of the film is, well, a tornado full of sharks hits LA. Our main protagonist is Finn, who when this tornado hits, realizes he should probably go save his wife and daughter. Even Kevin McAllister's dad tries to help Finn find his family, because apparently, I guess, that's just missing children's just his thing now. That's cool. Anyway, it's safe to say this film is a pretty bad film. I mean, there's one scene where Finn gets swallowed by a shark just to chainsaw his way back out. So, that should reassure everyone who is scared of sharks that there's nothing to worry about. If need be, just bring a chainsaw along next time you go to swim, or apparently walk. Just take it with you wherever you go. What's even funny about this movie is it actually takes itself seriously. This is not a spoof. All the characters are actually meant to act scared and figure out a way to stop this tornado. Ian Ziering, the actor who plays Finn, actually only accepted this role for financial reasons, stating that he disliked the script. I mean, yeah. But I would say he's probably glad he did take the role, as this film became a cult classic, and I'm not even joking. It actually has a cult following of loyal fans. In total, Sharknado actually ended up making 6 films, including the original. The sequels ended up taking themselves less seriously and kind of entered the zone of comedy.
The British are throwing flying sharks at us!
What do you mean by that?
But I've yet to watch any of the sequels. I mean, I kind of felt the first one perfectly sufficed my needs for sharks on land. So with that all said, Sharknado has a rating of 77% Rotten Tomatoes. I encourage you guys to look at the reviews for this film, as they're just comedy gold, because the reason the rating is so high is because of the sheer amount of piss taking in the reviews. So on to the next absolutely earth-shattering film. We've got Batman. No, not that Batman. This Batman. So this is actually the first ever Batman film made. Before this, there was a series with the same actors and style, but this was the first time the viewers saw Batman in movie format. And if you've only watched the more modern interpretations of Batman, how Adam West's Batman is played may come off as a bit of a surprise to you.
Which ones? Pretty fishy what happened to me on that ladder.
What? Bro, what are you talking?
So Batman came out in 1966 and was directed by Leslie H. Martinson. It followed Batman and Robin as they tried to prevent the Joker, Catwoman, and the Riddler and the Penguin from dehydrating people. Yes, dehydrating people. Not just like a little bit of cotton mouth. No, they were actually dehydrating people to dust. The chances are a lot of people who may have not watched this movie may still inadvertently recognize certain scenes from it, because even today this movie is used as a template for many memes, like the scene where Batman runs with the bomb. As for the villains in this film, you get quite a good mixture. Notably the Joker, who's played by Cesar Romero, is the only Joker in history to have a mustache, as Caesar refused to shave it. So yeah, take that, Joaquin Phoenix. Apparently the whole behind the scenes of this film was also rather chaotic. I mean, it's the 60s, what do you expect? But it was so chaotic that after filming the scene where Batman fights the Penguin on the submarine, the crew later realized that during the sequence, a stuntman was found to have fallen into a pool and smacked his head on a metal stud. So yeah, Batman 1966 was pretty bad, but iconic. Even Adam West, who plays Batman, was complaining at one stage about how fake the shark looked, but hey, at least he wasn't in a tornado. This film ended up being rated an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, with a lot of people actually really enjoying it because of how it didn't take itself too seriously. I mean, it's a sharp contrast to the Batman films of today, which obviously have a more depressing vibe around them. Now, does it do all that well in the technical department? No, not really. But it truly is a great take on Batman. Now, we've all heard of Jaws. right? I mean, if you haven't, go watch it immediately. It's a classic film. But anyway, when you mention Jaws, what do you think of? Maybe a seaside town? Possibly a shark? Or maybe even a legless kid? One thing you certainly don't think about is Jaws 3D, which is the third Jaws film in the franchise. This film was directed by Joe Alves, who actually was the director for Jaws 2, which I personally think was a great film. So this film actually puts the antagonist, which in the case of Jaws is the shark, in SeaWorld. And this film is kind of going for that more Jurassic Park, sciencey expert approach compared to the other films which focus primarily on just killing a shark with any means necessary. I mean, do you remember the guy who tried to hold open the shark's mouth with his legs? Yeah, that was the first film's apparent expert. So anyway, this all sounds fine. Yeah, maybe we can clearly tell that having a shark in SeaWorld would be a hard story to tell. But as the name implies, this film is meant for 3D glasses, and they really push into that. So there's a lot of shots in this film of just floating body parts, and you're just sort of sat there awkwardly, staring at it as it comes closer and closer to the camera. Now, okay, this is relatively forgivable. There's a lot of films that did similar things when 3D came out. I mean, at least the acting was good. Yeah, okay. The acting is pretty bland, and I would probably contribute that to the fact that Dennis Quaid, who plays Michael, was actually high during the whole process of filming, so that might explain it. Now for the thing that really cements Jaws 3D a spot on this video, the special effects.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water.
I mean, that scene where the shark bursts through the glass is arguably funnier than most scenes in comedy films. I mean, how did that even make it into the film? I don't know. Reportedly, this film was actually pitched by the producers as a spoof, like Sharknado, titled National Lampoon's Jaws 3, People Zero. Because that rolls off the tongue perfectly. Now, Steven Spielberg was fuming. He hated that idea so much that he threatened to never work with Universal again if this movie was made. Then again, I'm sure Steven was not expecting this as the alternative. Despite this film's Rotten Tomato rating of 11%, it boomed in the box office, grossing $87.9 million. Now, it's been a wild journey of very interesting films so far, but I thought what better way to top this all off than with a film that impacted children all over the globe. So great it caused sugar rushes just from watching it. I'm of course referring to The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Isn't it funny how every film on this list has included some form of shark? Anyway, Shark Boy and Lava Girl is a film directed by Robert Rodriguez, who is known for the first Spy Kids film, which is a lot more popular than this movie, but if you're looking for a laugh, it's also a pretty good film to watch. But to me, The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl has always been my favourite. For those who haven't watched this masterpiece, it's a film about this child who has a dream journal. One day, a tornado hits. Sorry, just had something stuck in my throat there. And he falls asleep, as per tornado protocol. Really, this movie uses the whole thing of it was just a dream, or was it? But what you mean to tell me is that they see a tornado approaching the classroom, and they just duck under the desks and what, just take a nap? I don't know. But you know what? I don't care about logic. I have nostalgia on my side. But anyway, carrying on with the summary, basically he dreams about these two characters called Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and they battle out villains in the awesome dreamscape of Planet Drool. I just love Mr. Electric as well. I mean, what is he? No, actually, what is he? Because I sure as hell, I don't know. But that all doesn't matter. This is Planet Drool. It doesn't have to make sense. So this film was actually made for 3D. Sadly, I never got to experience it in 3D as a child, but I swear I actually fully dreamt of these characters before. But that's a whole wormhole into my personal life we don't want to get into. So this film also includes Taylor Lautner as Shark Boy, who I'm told is a big person on Twilight. So any Twilight fans out there, here he is. I've always preferred TVD, but we don't really need to battle it out. Let's just live in peace. Speaking of casting, originally Lava Girl actually could have been played by Miley Cyrus. It was between her and Taylor Dooley, who eventually would land the role after Miley Cyrus had to drop out. I do wonder what the alternative universe looks like. This film was rated a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, but what do the critics know? This right here is art.
Relax, lay about, or my fist will put you out.
With that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Maybe now you have something to watch tonight or at parties. As if I've ever been to a party. But that's irrelevant. Feel free to comment down below any films which maybe I missed out on, because trust me, there's a good few. But other than that, if you like this content, I would massively appreciate a click on the subscribe button. And for those of you who have already subscribed, you're some great human beings. And I hope you know that. Go to sleep tonight and go, I'm a great human being. Have a great day.